Day 116. For anyone that hasn't ever watched these videos or don't have context on really what I do, I always say I like to combine biblical scripture and encouragement that's rooted in the Bible with motivational quotes, gym and exercise motivation, and just ways that we can really take care of our temple and get stronger. So I like to combine the spiritual context with the earthly things that I'm interested in to ultimately achieve just a healthy balance of mind, body, and spirit. So the last couple days, I've had a lot of, I would hope to think I've had some good scripture and faith related stories, but I thought today was a good time to throw out a nice motivational quote and then combine it with scripture towards the end. So what I have today is, insanity and greatness are next door neighbors, and they borrow each other's sugar. And I don't mean insanity in a bad way, but the people that truly want to master something are the people that are just going to continue to show up on the doorstep of that thing day after day, after week, after year after year. Even when the scenes of life are not convenient for them to keep showing up, or even when they're continuing to get knocked down and down and down, and they just keep taking the punches and continue to show up in an effort to become the best at said thing. But I came across that quote and I loved it. Insanity and greatness are next door neighbors, and they borrow each other's sugar. If you want to truly grow and truly master something, I don't think you luck into it. It takes drive, it takes internal motivation. And people get that confused. I've said it before, but like, motivation is something that has to come internally. I don't think that I could ever say magic words, or any motivational speaker can say any magic words to motivate anyone. I don't think that exists. I think you can say things that spark inspiration in someone, but for them to consistently show up and become the best version of them for that said thing, I think it has to be internally motivated. And I think all we can do is inspire and hope that people get kicked into gear with motivation. And again, we'll talk about scripture here shortly, but one way to become and sustainably stay motivated is through Jesus. And that's really the only way, is to know whose you are and where you're going. And you're going to be filled with so much more hope and confidence and joy than the earthly person that doesn't have sight of the real truth of salvation. And that's real. But again, just talking about earthly things that I'm interested in, sports, grew up playing baseball and basketball and football and tennis, and then I graduated to adulthood and past those things in my life, but still exercising, getting stronger, getting good sweats in, taking care of my body. Like, the goal that you have to be so steadfast and be connected to a why if you're really going to be consistent and sustainable in that thing. And some people, that's not their interest, and that's okay. And some people don't get it, and hopefully they give me grace to know that maybe I'm just different than them and they're different than me. I'm not advocating that everyone should think the way that I do, but I can guarantee you, if you're like me and you're motivated by taking care of yourself, man, getting a good sweat in, throwing around heavy weight, progressing, having a very specific goals about how you want to take care of your body, strength train, run, exercise, doing things that are hard, you're going to be mentally calloused in the best of ways by just choosing to do the hard thing. The unchosen versus chosen suffering that we've talked about early on in my videos, like, choose suffering, and it's going to make you so much more prepared for the unchosen sufferings of life, things like death and grief and real life things that cause storms in our life, man. But insanity and greatness, they're tied together, and you have to grind. You have to be tough-nosed. You have to continue to push forward even when you don't have much sleep, or even when you don't feel that motivated that week. Are you just going to keep showing up? And not everyone's has that dog mentality mindset that I talk about, but I think it can be cultivated. And I guarantee you, like, just speaking to my experience, going from really having anxiety and getting to the point where I was injured at one point in my life a few years back, to where I couldn't even get off the couch, and just was letting this anxiety fester for long periods of months in my life. And just to see a difference between where I am now to then. If anyone experiences anxiety or just stress, or just is genuinely not happy with who they see in the mirror, feel free to message, feel free to reach out, because I'm telling you, I'm on the other side of some things now that I at one point never thought I could have gotten over. And it feels so good to just sit any time of day, morning, midday, or evening, to just sit there and to appreciate how far that you've come. And there's a lot of peace in that. There's a lot of calmness in that. A couple other quotes that I came across that I wanted to reference tonight. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That one stuck out to me today. And then another one, figure out a way to seek and enjoy doing difficult things. Like, even if you have to start small, like if you're working out 3 days a week, say I'm going to do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups, and I'm going to find a way to get it done, even if you have to do them incrementally throughout the day. And again, like, I enjoy to work out pretty much every day, but that's not going to be built overnight. Start with 3 days a week and enjoy your Tuesdays and Thursdays off. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, though, sign the contract with yourself that I'm going to get 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups in. You can do great body weight exercises to start building strength and to start seeing massive results. And if you have to do 10 of them in a 20-minute time span, and then take 20 minutes off and then do 10 more, find a way to get it done and prioritize it. And just see what that does, not only to your health and your physique, but see what it does to your mind. So, Psalm chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, it says, "Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night." This speaks 100% to me in what I relate to our just current society and our current culture. Is like, because I've been this way in seasons, and I have this awareness to it now that I'm just so shocked that I was so blind to it in previous seasons of my life. Not that I was trying to sit in the company of mockers and be some terrible person, and not that I was trying to stand in the way of sinners, but I do look back, and it's so easy to just be so encapsulated by Twitter and Instagram and all of these things, where you start to just become so societally focused, if that's the right term. You're hating on the same things just time and time again, whether it's sports things with people that you're arguing with, or political things of firing back and forth, and you're just sitting in the company. And we sit in physical companies of mockers, people that are just rude out in public, anywhere from a ball game to a grocery store. And especially nowadays, we sit in this digital company of mockers where we just can't get along, and everyone has these Twitter fingers, and it's so easy to just be rude with zero consequence. And we can get wrapped up in so many seasons and patterns of living in the way of sinners, as it says here in the Bible. And all I want to do now in my life, for the rest of my life, is to just delight in the law of the Lord, as it says there in Psalms 2. I want to meditate on it day and night. And again, I'm not the person that's going to go beat someone over the head with the Bible and tell them that they're an awful person. But just from the morning I wake up to the morning that I go to, or to the evening when I go to sleep, and every time in between, I want to either objectively be thinking about and talking to Jesus, and or subconsciously being a vessel for him as I move throughout my day. whether that's at the gym, whether that's at a work meeting, whether that's at a t-ball game, whether that's at the grocery store or out to dinner. Whatever I do, I just want to have this joy and this nature about me that is just meditating on the Lord. And it's so freeing. Some people would say, wow, he's living in a box. No, it's the most freeing thing, because I've seen what life is like on the other side. I've lived that life long enough to where it's not sustainable, and you're truly going to bed stressed and anxious and not feeling good, and physically not feeling well, mentally not feeling well. You're tired, you're not sleeping enough, your yoke doesn't feel easy and your burden doesn't feel light. And I have not been in that headspace at all anymore, because I'm living and walking for the Lord. And not that I'm perfect. I still sin, and I still have to talk to God about that plenty of times. But there's a lightness and a joy and a hope in taking care of yourself spiritually, having a relationship with God, taking care of yourself physically, and having goals that you're aiming towards, and you're working hard and you're busting it, because you're going to have, it's going to cultivate confidence and growth in your life when you're just pushing hard and aiming and trying to be a leader in your life for the people around you. That's day 116.